Hey, what's up, guys? I've got something so fun for you today. I'm gonna be doing this color retouch. It's on one of my favorite people. I'm gonna show you here really quick. Okay, guys. So first off, this was done how many weeks ago?
Oh, I'm 9, almost 10 weeks.
9, almost 10 weeks ago, guys. Like, look at this, and it still just looks awesome, right? It's got like that reddish tone. We're gonna be putting some yellow on these ends, and you can see kind of how that fade just still looks freaking fabulous. This is one of my favorite people, one of my favorite clients. Oh, she's the cutest thing ever. Look at that. Like, seriously, she's just awesome. And when you find people you love, you want to make them look the best. So stick around, it's gonna be awesome. So this color application you guys are gonna see is gonna be, I'm gonna walk you guys through all of it, but let's see here. I've got my color formula here. We're doing like a 5RR, which is a 5.66 with 20 volume. That's at our roots. And then we're gonna be doing an orange and a yellow Pravana on those ends. So it's gonna be awesome. It is so cool. How young are you?
40.
40. Yeah. See, you're like Kelsey. You guys are young bucks. It's awesome.
I actually had this moment of time because my stepdad died in 2019,
Okay.
and then the pandemic happened in 2020.
Okay.
My biological dad died in 2020.
Okay.
So when I was dying, and I feel like I lost years of my life and I forgot how old I was. And
Nice.
next thing I know, I'm like, oh, I'm going to be 35 this year. No, I'm 36 this year. I lost a complete year of my life. And for some reason, the 6, because I'm like 35, you're right in the middle. I'm in the middle.
Right.
36 years, you're sort of more towards 40. Yeah, than you were before. And you lost a whole year of your life. And it freaked me out so goddamn bad for some reason. And 40 freaked me out because I think you just you've reached your maximum allowed. You're 40 now, it's all downhill from here. So for some weird reason, so that freaked me out, but 41 doesn't freak me out. So I'm like, I've already arrived. I'm already here. What am I going to do about it?
Totally.
But I get that, like, well, on the other side of the 5 can start to get kind of scary.
Yeah. I mean, I think when I turned 40, I didn't like. I was kind of excited because again, like 30s were awesome. I love my 30s, but 40s have also been awesome as well. But I didn't have any weirdness. I think when I turned 40. Yeah. I mean.
Well, I think, and this is my opinion, just in my experience. My husband gets older and he gets wiser. And I get older and I look like I should be accepting cold under a fucking bridge. That's just how it goes. Every year older, my husband is a fox. Salt and pepper daddy, you know?
Oh yeah.
And I just get more chins. It's fine. Yeah. I'm happy with it. And but I do get more laid back. And I get more comfortable with, I don't feel like I worry as much, which is, I'm very thankful for.
Do you think you were you kind of high stress case before? Like, where do you think do you think you reached an age where you weren't as kind of
I think that I grew up in a scenario where I was just in survival. I didn't have the best upbringing. And I think you make it enough into your world where you've lost parents and you've lost people that you love, or you've gone through financial hardship, and you have enough proof gathered that you can survive it. I think that's the big thing, is just reworking your self-talk to say, yeah, you know what? You can't avoid pain and you can't avoid discomfort. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. But you're strong enough to survive it. You're capable enough to navigate it. And I think to have that knowledge in my back pocket, because when I was young, I think I was just afraid of everything. Just because I was kind of raised to be afraid of everything.
right?
And then I got kicked out of the nest because parents are humans too, and you just kind of navigate it and figure it out. And then you go, holy shit, I'm 40 and I'm still here.
Right.
That's pretty cool. Now what? You know, my finances are figured out. Got a great relationship. I realized that I don't have to hustle as much for certain relationships. There are certain people I don't need to know. That's not required of me. So I can just drop my shoulders a little bit. Now the conundrum is build something, create something for you, not for anybody else. What do you want to write? What do you want to make? What do you want to build? How do you want to enrich your life just for the sake of enriching it?
Like that right there, Kristen, I absolutely love, because when I started creating, when I was doing Naha, kind of got to that point where I was kind of I wasn't creating for anybody else anymore. I was just creating for me. That's when I started to get this. I had so much more satisfaction and so much more appreciation, because I was just I'm not doing this for the win. I was doing this because I wanted to see if I could actually do it.
Yeah.
And it just, anyways, it was and then I actually started to get more recognized. I actually started to win because I was doing it for me. I wasn't doing it for the wrong reasons. So I think that right there, doing it for you is absolutely the best. Have you been creating more?
Yes, I have been.
I love it.
A lot of paper stuff, a lot of writing, so much writing. And I really do believe that creativity as a partner knows when there's another person in the room. What I mean about that is creativity knows when the objective is for someone else.
Right.
It knows when I really believe that. That might sound hokey, but there's a really beautiful dance that happens when I'm creating, and it's just me and creativity in the room.
For what I love about you being an artist and creating, right, is the medium. And for any of you guys, I'm gonna link her page. You got to check it out. It is freaking amazing what she does with art. So yeah, anyways, it's awesome. So I love that you do it. I love that you're feeding that cup, because again, you weren't doing it for so many years. doing it.
Yeah.
How's the house? How's the...
The house is amazing. I feel like that's one of the things that has kind of helped me get more creative, is because I can't create in a space where I have to clean up after myself immediately. I need to be able to like start something and then let it sit and simmer for a while.
Yeah.
And then pick up where I left off, and now I have the loft, and now I can do that, which is so freaking cool. But I've been reading this book again this year. I've read it probably 20 times and listened to it on Audible.
Okay.
But it's called Big Magic: Creative Living Beyond Fear.
Give magic.
Big Magic.
Big magic.
Mm-hmm. And she talks about, because I always used to kind of exhaustion as a status symbol. I'm so busy. And then creating is my little reward when I get to it. And creativity is selfish. And it's a frivolous thing that I do. But she talks about anybody who's ever been entangled in a love affair.
Okay.
They make fucking time for that person. You make time.
Right.
You make time for that person that you're infatuated with.
Right.
So she's like, look at it as if you are having a wild, lustful infatuation with your creativity.
Dude, I love that. Kind of gives me chills.
Sneak off into the other room when no one's around and make something or write something. Like, tell people that you're going one place and instead go to a cafe and write. Tell people that you have an appointment but instead stay home and work on your art. Like, sneak away and have a love affair with your art, which has been really helpful. It's been super helpful.
Dude, I love it.
And it has really kind of made it a little bit hot, you know?
Well, I love
Which,
it.
as a dried up woman in my 40s, that's incredibly helpful.
I love it. It kind of gives me chills when you talk about it. I was like, wow, that's kind of sobering and powerful. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just bring up. Shit. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
It's a good one. It's
Yeah.
a really good one.
What was the thing? It was like whenever I was, sometimes I think when I was in the past, like when I was creating, I didn't have. I kind of felt like I was, and I okay, to extend off of that, it was interesting because I had one of my clients. She kind of referred to my art, and she's like, it's like your mistress. And it didn't really ever, it kind of made sense when you said that. I was like, wow, like, it really was, like I was kind of spending time doing this art that I almost made more of a priority than I did the people that were in my life. And it almost made me feel guilty about it, whereas where I still wanted to, I needed to create just to kind of fill my bucket when I didn't. And I was so much more of a pleasant person to be around when I would create, because if I didn't create, I had this kind of, this chip on my shoulder, and I wasn't nice, and, yeah, that's amazing. I love it.
Magical stuff.
So are you done reading it?
I've read that book so many damn times. There are so many good nuggets of inspiration and stories from other artists. I can't remember what her name is, but she talks about inspiration. The author of this book talks about inspiration and how many artists believe that creativity is a living thing. I mean, it comes to you and leaves you if it feels like it's not getting your attention. And there is this one story about this woman, writer, I can't remember her name, but it was such a beautiful visual because she talked about being in her fields, like tilling her fields, and she would look out over the horizon and she would feel inspiration roaring across the plains towards her. And sometimes she would drop her shovel and she would run to the house as fast as she possibly could to catch the inspiration before it left her. Because that's how she pictured it. So she'd run as fast as she could, get into the house, sit down with her pen and paper, and sometimes it would hit and she would capture it. And sometimes she would miss it. And she said, sometimes I would visualize myself getting to my desk and sitting down with my pen and paper, and I would have to reach out and grab the tail of creativity and pull it back. And it was just so, like, what a cool visual to know that there's this force that can miss you, that can notice whether you're in it or not, if you're there at the right time. I think any creative has been in a situation, whether you're traveling or walking down the street, getting a donut where you're like, oh damn, that's a really good fucking idea. And then you forget it.
Yeah, they're like, yes, it's so interesting you kind of bring that up, because whenever I would get ideas or get inspired by something, I would have to put it in my notes, I would have to put it in my phone, and I'd have to immediately write it down, immediately do something, because I knew that I would forget, like, there's so many screenshots that I have on my phone about like, just inspiration or just whatever it is. There was even this one time, I was thinking about this morning, was that and this is me being 100% transparent, was for NAH, one year I did get nominated, and I was so angry, like with kind of like myself, but I was also so angry because there was some other people in the salon that did get nominated, and I was so effing pissed. I was so pissed that I had to walk outside and I had to record exactly how I felt at that exact moment, because I wanted to remember and I wanted to use that as fuel to fuel my next collection, because I was so freaking pissed that I didn't get nominated that year. And I guess I was, but it was, I just needed to do that for my own sanity. To number one, just get it out of my body, number one. Number two, so I could listen to it back and use that as fuel to, yeah.
Did it work?
I got nominated the next year. So I don't know if it did. I don't say that it didn't, but I think what my main motivation for doing it probably didn't work, but I used it as a tool to get me to create a new collection. So in that terms, it did work, but it didn't work in getting nominated.
Do you want to know what I think that is a perfect example of? You just created for yourself in that moment emotional Viagra, because Viagra was originally, I think, like a blood pressure medication.
Right.
And then it was like, whoopsie, you know what? Actually, there may be a better use case for this. So I think sometimes when you go, I didn't really achieve what I was going for, but did that help you learn? I think you still have the visual in your mind of like, I was in such a bad place that I had to get it out of my body and memorialize it somewhere, because I knew that that feeling was useful. You made yourself some boner pills, is what you did with that video. Because it probably has propelled you to do different behavior.
Absolutely.
Function differently.
Well, no, and I 100% agree with you, because again, it was, and again, I think that, you know, sometimes we forget that emotional place where we are, and what I wanted to really document was, I just didn't want to forget how frustrated, angry, and just kind of, I can do better. That is kind of really, but yeah, you know, this, what did you say? But
Boner pills?
But like
emotional Viagra?
Emotional Viagra.
I still think it's valid. I still think it's every bit as valuable.
Absolutely.
Maybe a bad metaphor, but
No,
you get what I mean.
No, it's not a bad metaphor at all. You know, I love it. I'm all about it.
Do you still have that video?
Yes. Yes. Well, it was a voice message.
Oh, voice message.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things to do in life, because I haven't been really good about self-care, or I've always felt like a weirdo. I grew up a poor kid. I kind of always had this weird sense of humor.
Okay.
So I always felt kind of odd and unusual.
Okay.
And one of my favorite things in life now is to go back to some pictures or artwork that I did or writings that I did and see how easily grace comes. How much easier it is for me now to look at that girl and be like, oh, honey, you were doing your best. You know, even when you were showing your ass a little bit and really not behaving well. Like, I think you live in such a place of shame for so long that it's nice to be able to show up for my younger self the way that I wish somebody else would have now that I'm 40. But it's through memories and it's through experiences like that. Like, do you feel like if you were to listen to that recording today that you would feel that you would be able to go, wow, I'm a different person now than I was then?
Well, and I think just to kind of play off of that, there was a lot of ego. There was a lot of ego in that. There's a lot of ego in the emotion of that recording, you know. And now it's kind of like, you know what? Like, looking at it now, I would be like, because I held it at such a high value proposition for myself on even how I identified myself. And so I held it so high that it was kind of like because knowing that, and like now I'm like, that's not how I identified myself. And like now I can look at it and just kind of be like, oh, dude, you know, it's all right, you know, if I didn't get it like this year or whatever, like, you know, I haven't entered in years. But I mean, the point is like, there's more of a mature kind of, instead of looking at just this pissed, like, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, and that's really kind of what fueled it. It was just like, it was like, should it, you know, like, and that's not a good place. You know, I think that I was losing the intrinsic value of really what that stood for. I let it get to my, you know, ego. I was like, man, no, I need to win like every time. I need to get nominated every time. And it's like, no, I'd like, you know.
So what do you think from then to now soothes that? What do you think in your life has happened that made you go, oh, that's not required of me to be okay? Like, what do you think soothed that ego? Kids? Career?
I honestly, I think it's probably kind of a combination of a lot, but I also think it's age. I think age is kind of just like, man, like, you know, I mean, you just get more, you're not trying to keep up.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like a little bit more like, you're content. You know, you're kind of like, oh man, it's all good. You get it? Cool, man. You don't? Hey, dude, like why stress about it, right? Like, life is too short. And then, which also kind of brings up another thing where it's like, you know, you kind of get to that place where, you know, you start having friends of yours where their parents are getting sick and they're dying and whatnot. It just kind of gives you like more perspective on your life and what's important. And you're like, dude, don't sweat the small stuff, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that also kind of comes with like, dude, just enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
And I think that we there's this place of just this utter pressure of having to be like what society thinks you should be, when it's like, dude, move at your own pace, man. You know, like, it's kind of do what's right for you. Like, quit looking outward, like, look inward. Like, we're cool, man. We're good. You know?
My husband and I were having this conversation because we had spent, I mean, you remember 4 years talking about buying a house?
Yeah.
4 years of like, how are we going to afford it? Everything's getting more expensive and the interest rates are like just not being able to find anything that worked. And that's all we talked about for 4 years. And we finally bought a house. And we're sitting in the house that we purchased after all of this time. Beautiful home that we wake up feeling grateful in every single day. And we both have new jobs. I got promoted. My husband got a new job. All of these things that had somebody talk to us, 10 years ago about, we would have been like, holy shit, we won the lottery, But we're both feeling like, okay, how can we make more money? What can we do? How can we strategize to get more and make sure that the house payment is something we're comfortable in? And how can we save more money so we can pay more off? And blah, 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 blah. Like just putting ourselves back in the same corner that we had been for so long and feeling like it's external stuff that's happening. And we're laying in bed and we both had this discussion of, I think really what it comes down to is that we need to stop moving the fucking goalpost. Like, we have not even given ourselves 6 months in our home of enjoying what we've been able to do. When we both came from poverty, as adults, we've been able to purchase a house in this stupid ass economy, and we have not even given ourselves 6 months to enjoy it before we feel like, what's the next thing? We're falling behind. What do we need to do? Which is exhausting. And so now I think we have that mechanism that goes, if we're starting to feel uncomfortable, or we're starting to feel insecure, or we're starting to feel like, what's the next thing more? Which is, I think, very different than just challenging yourself to be better than you were the day before.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. But I think doing it to the point where you're sick to your stomach and you feel like you've fallen behind, it's really, really good to have that, okay, is this an external issue we need to address, or is this a goalpost issue? And that has made all the difference. Is it pressure I'm putting on myself to be better, faster, or stronger? Or, is it I want to be the best version of myself? And there's a big difference between the two. But it's been a good reminder to be like, just enjoy your fucking garden. Just go sit outside. Go sit outside. Go make something in your kitchen. Go up to your art loft and just chill because you didn't have one before. Just take a beat. And so far, the discomfort has been solved by just going, is this because you moved the goalpost? It's because you're raising the bar again.
It's kind of interesting. I was just talking about this with somebody, and I'm like, too many people, they do keep shifting the goalpost. You have to look at what is value. For me, what is valuable for me is being able to be I don't ever want to get to that age where I'm saying when it's too late, I wish I would have blank. And because one of my clients asked me, he's like, how many days a week do you work? It's like, I work 3 days a week. So I'm like, I can be with my kids on Monday and I can be with them on Friday. I can take them to school, I can do what I need to do with them. Because again, I don't want to, of course, I could work more days than a week. We can increase the amount of money you bring in and all of that. All for what? More shit? More responsibility? I'm good. I'm in the salon 3 days a week. I don't need to work anymore. I want to get to that place where I'm like, yeah, we could go into another class of, making money, but I'm like, at what cost?
Yeah.
We're fine. I don't need to shift the goalpost. We're good. And I think that it's too many people, there's a lot of people that can't do that, right? They have to work, which, that's just kind of how life is, but again, at the end of the day, it's you don't have to keep moving that goalpost to where you put yourself last. You need to put yourself first. Like, what is going to make it to where you can fill your bucket, right? For me, it's creating. I like creating. And so I would much rather spend the time when my kids are at school creating and, like, you know, that fills my bucket than
Yeah.
you know. So, you know, I think that what's important to you? Is it important to you, like, so again, like, living in the moment, man. You have that space to create. And I love that you're it's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I used to be this kid with this like wild imagination. And like I felt magic during Christmas. I felt whimsy and I felt enchantment. And over the last several years, I'm like, damn, life is a fucking drag. So like that Disneyland just whimsy that existed as kids, I'm like, does that exist for adults? How would an adult feel that again? And what does that look like as an adult?
Right.
And I've been reading books, and I've been trying to put myself in places that I remember conjured up a lot of that for me as a kid, whether that's like making Christmas extra magical. And I don't have kids, it's just my husband and my 2 dogs. So like, I'm decorating for Christmas. What am I doing? I'm adding more twinkle lights. And does it work? It's different, because what I've decided is that what magic and whimsy and enchantment is for adults, it's wonder and it's marveling at something. It elicits the same feelings in adulthood that I had when I was a kid. Yeah, maybe it's not pixie dust,
Right.
but if I go outside and I really look at the bark of a tree, or I really pay attention to a bird or a sunset, or go to Crater Lake and look at how incredible nature is and man had nothing to do with it, like just marvel at something and have wonderment in something, I feel like that is kind of the antidote to that balls to the walls, nothing can be big enough, nothing can be fast enough, nothing can satiate enough of that this adulthood that we've grown into. I feel like that's the antidote. Stop and go find something to wonder about. Stop and go find something to marvel at. Because it pulls the plug on that, like, which I think is a very American way of thinking, like, supersize me. Give me something faster, give me something bigger. I've got to be hustling. Like, we don't sleep, we don't eat. Sleep is for pussies. Like, we can rest, guys.
Right.
We can siesta. We can chill. Again, go touch some grass. Go look at a sunset. As an adult, we need to wonder. We need to find wonderment in things, and we need to marvel, and we need to calm the fuck down.
Right. Too fucking shay. Touche. I love it. I love it. You literally just put the nail in the coffin right there. I always like to say, like, just stay curious, right? And I think that if you can start to look at things in perspectives that you don't normally look at it in that lens, you start to find wonderment. You start to find, like, beautiful things and things that you took for granted. So, hell yeah, man. Okay, guys. So, we're gonna let you process. You can go sit wherever you want to go sit.
All right.
You're awesome. Okay. Love it. Okay, guys. So we just finished the application of that color, and it is going to be so cool because, again, we did a base color. We also did an orange and a yellow sitting on those mids and ends, and it's just going to give it kind of like this. It's not going to look like your typical bright yellow, but stay tuned. It is going to be super, super fun. We're going to blow it out. We're going to cut it. You're going to love it. going to be freaking awesome. This is by far probably my favorite color that I do. Okay. I'll be applying some of this. You have long hair, this is what you need. Simplest thing, it is a moisturizing thermal protectant. Before you start drying, you always want to towel dry as much as possible. It's going to make it to where you're not having to dry. It's going to take forever. But before we dry, we're going to reshape up some of Kristen's layers. Because why would we not? When it comes down to having long hair, one of the things, Kristen might be able to elaborate on this just a little bit, but adding layers to long hair just creates a lot of movement, makes it so the hair is not so sedentary, and can just make it fun for her in the realm of it just doesn't look, because a lot of times if you don't do anything to like long hair, it can just kind of hang there. That's fact. Doesn't get volume, doesn't have movement, and just kind of doesn't have that sexy overall vibe that people want. When you have like long hair, you want it to move, you want it to shake, you want it to have. It's gonna look amazing. You know, that's the end all be all factor. So when I look at this, I'm starting to look at the overall shape here, guys. The overall shape is that it goes from short to long up here in this area. Now what we want to do is we're going to keep that same direction going. We're just going to kind of cut on the inside. Now when I say cut on the inside, we already have a beautiful shape on the outside. So I'm going to show you this right now. Say cut on the inside, I'm actually going to cut on the inside. And then we're going to dry it, and then we're going to finish cutting. But this whole thing creates this movement. I just want to like go to whatever party you're going to. I'm like, I'm not going to my sister Julie called me. She's like, listen, I will see that. When we were cultivating it, and my school was on law, she's like, so she's like, I need to have professional, and I know she's like, I don't know if I'll be able to do it. Then I'm going to take one section down from here. Same kind of section like Mohawk section. Now we're just shifting it down here.
I hate to put it this way. I just I didn't know that if I had it. I'm gonna be honest. I'm getting off of drunk. And like, you I mean, for the most part, I feel like
Now I'm going to switch over here to the other side here. And I like to stand always on the same side. Because they're going to be cutting the same direction. Try not to pull too hard. Some people have a little bit more sensitive scalps, so I want to manhandle them, right? I mean, if I was going to manhandle somebody, you want to take a bunch of hair and pull their hair, not just like small little bits and pieces. This is a little tip for you. I mean, I don't even know who that tip is for. Let's just rewind and not even mention that. But maybe I should have known that when I was younger. Didn't discover that till like a little bit later, but you know, some women like their hair pulled.
We don't kink shame around here.
We don't what?
Kink shame.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But this is going to be fabulous. Seriously, it is going to be awesome. So let's try it. Check this out. We're going to add a little bit of mousse here, okay? Just because it's going to create a little bit of texture. I like to add a little bit of mousse because we want to prevent, what is it we want to prevent? What is that thing?
Birth canal head.
Birth canal head. That is a Kristen original. That was the first time I ever heard that, and it just makes so much sense. So,
do we explain birth canal head?
sure.
Birth canal head is when the top of the hair is so heavy that it forces the hair down, and then you kind of walk around looking like your head just got freshly exposed to a birth canal. A little cone head right there.
Totally. I don't see how you can't love this one. Say,
I can watch scary movies. Like, the dead don't scare me nearly as much as the living, so I can watch horror movies and be just fine.
right.
I can hang with some ghosts. But, like psychological thrillers, like being on the receiving end of what human beings are capable of, like that stuff does freak me out because it's real and we don't really, I think if we knew like the capacity at which human beings can be the worst, we just never leave our houses. Like our neighbors, statistically, like who's being a creep in fairly close proximity to us. Like if we had that information, like we would never go anywhere. We'd be too scared. So like, yeah, psychological shit freaks me out a lot more than like ghost stories and stuff like that. But like end of the world stuff, and I'll be honest, it could be partly because we don't have children. So Josh and I are both like, if there was a zombie apocalypse, I would be one of the ones just like walking into a group of zombies head first. Like, I don't want to live on a world where I have to constantly be terrified. Like, I'm good. There are also worse things than death. I'm fine. I've had a good run, you know?
What are you guys doing?
But, and then I just headbutt each and every one of them until my brain is theirs. Yeah, so end of the world stuff, I'm kind of like,
Right.
I'm fine. There's an asteroid headed this way. It's kind of an ideal situation. Me and my husband and our cute little dogs in our bed or out in our garden. And that's just kind of how it all ends. Which which seems bleak, but not really. I'm not in a rush to have an asteroid hit the Earth or anything, but
I'll be hanging out with Ben Affleck and who's the other people? Armageddon. What was that show? Have you ever seen Armageddon?
yes.
Billy Bob Thornton. I'm gonna be hanging out with them.
Perfect.
They're the saviors.
Do it. You're getting on the ship. You're going.
They're the saviors, dude.
And I'm like, good for you, while I'm eating my cherry tomatoes in my house and my slippers and sweats, being like, it is what it is. But I hope Billy Bob and Jake can really pull this off. If so, perfect.
You know, because hairdressing is kind of Latin for real art.
Yeah.
You know, totally. You know, I cut hair, I cut raw. It's kind of the same thing.
Oh, totally. It's exactly the same thing. Don't let anybody tell you it's not the same thing. Is that the one with the one that you were talking about? Was Julia Roberts in that?
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's who's in it. That's the actress I was thinking of. Yeah. It's bleak. It's bleak. You know, like it's not like it's just a feel good movie. Like it's totally. And it was so interesting because I heard a bunch of people that were kind of like, oh, they're like, it's kind of dark. And I was like, oh, in a hurry.
Sure.
And then of course, you know, wife puts it on the thing. Like, all right.
Intense flick for a school night. Would you say that? This is a weekend vibe where I can wake up in the morning and take it easy and breathe in and out.
Yeah, it was heavy. It was a heavy show.
Yeah. I think maybe I've desensitized myself to heavy just because I, like so many other women, got on the true crime kick.
Oh, right.
So,
So what are you watching now? As far as true crime?
I mean, I listen to a lot of
Podcasts and stuff?
just YouTube. I spend
Okay.
so much time on YouTube. There are a lot of really cool independent YouTubers that cover true crime stories.
Right.
But really, you know what? The people that did it all, the people who started it back in the day,
OGs.
real good OG true crime aficionados, is the 48 hours. Because it's done really well.
Wait, 40 hours they can use?
Just 48 hours, yeah.
Right.
Because those people had enough, you know, journalistic credit that they could get in there and talk to the families and really,
There's credibility.
sure.
Absolutely.
And they're done really well. So I like those. A lot of court TV.
Well, they had to be credible, right? They couldn't. It's back when like you had to put out stuff that you essentially would get in trouble for if it wasn't true.
Well, now any Will Shitface with a YouTube
Absolutely.
account can get out there and
Start spewing something that they heard from somebody that
as facts.
like
Yeah.
my brother's sister's cousin's best friend's boyfriend's sister passed out on 31 flavors last night. Before he passed out, he said that.
Yeah. Or my intuition tells me that that person isn't just a
Right.
pickle salesman. He had a look in his eye that told me that maybe he had something to do with those 4 kids that were murdered in Idaho. But he lives in Tennessee. It doesn't matter. My intuition says that this is true. Yeah. Yeah. There is a oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking on the name of it. But there's a show that we've kind of gotten into. I think it's called The Scam Goddess or something like that.
The Scam Goddess.
Where she does a bunch of different shows about different people who have scammed people, like to the tune of millions and millions and millions of dollars. County auditors, people that pull up to small towns claiming to be some people that they aren't. Like, it is nuts. So she goes back and she kind of tells the story of how people fell for it. And they are good stories, but also...
What's this one?
I feel like it's on Netflix.
Okay.
I'll have to send it to you. But one, it's fascinating and so good and hopeful that there are still so many people who trust and believe that people have their best interests at heart.
They don't have an ill will towards, like, oh yeah, for sure.
How many people had, up until that point, had their faith in people broken?
Right.
And then, damn, how people got some balls. People have some balls to be doing some stuff. And thinking that they're just never going to get caught. Like, for 20 straight years, sifting money off the top of this little town in Indiana. I'm parading it, like, not, how are you the county auditor, but you're driving 4 Porsches and you have several prize ponies, like, horses are expensive. Where are you getting your money? Right over here today.
Right.
For decades.
Oh yeah.
I think that lady stole like $58 million from the town.
Are you serious?
Yeah, pal.
And people didn't put 2 and 2 together?
No.
Dude, that is like freaking bananas, man. Like, that's like, again, like there's so many. Just follow the money. Follow the money. I don't know, man. Like, some of those shows can be almost, it's kind of sad. It's really kind of truly sad it happens to people, but some people out there are so good at what they do that it sucks that, and the thing that I feel bad for is I feel bad for people like my mom, that old school generation that trust everybody and they don't think that anybody's like gonna wrong them. And it's like one of the people I have just is Jen Shaw from The Real Housewives. Like, she defrauded and sold out these, number one, old people. She sold their information to old people. She's a horrible person. Horrible. And she people like my mom's it. But she she targeted a certain demographic, and you're like stealing people's money, selling their information to scammers, which essentially just scam these people out of money. But it's like, anyways, it's just horrible that there has to be people out there that are going to take advantage of people all for the almighty fuck whatever. It's just horrible.
So I saw a post on this neighborhood app that I have. So in the little town that I live in, which isn't so little anymore, Lehigh, I see a post from the police department that says they got a tip from a gas station attendant that there was a old lady at the ATM, like, scared and on the phone with someone. And so the gas station attendant was like, I see this all the time. I think she's on the phone with a scammer, getting scammed. So the cops show up, and sure enough, she's at an ATM that I think does like Bitcoin, like transfer to Bitcoin.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And the cop goes up to her and she's just frantic. It's like, my grandson is in jail and I need to transfer money to Bitcoin to get him out. And the cops are like, this is not a thing. Like, you're being scammed. While they're dealing with the lady, another old guy comes into the same gas station on the phone with another person, totally scared out of his mind because some other scenario is going on and he needs to transfer money on the same ATM. I think it's because the scammers are aware that there's an ATM that does it available in town.
Yep.
So it's just like clockwork. So they're like, I guess we need to post up at this place. And sure enough, just one after the other, old people getting scammed out of their minds. They're about to do it, about to do all the transferring, had they not been stopped by police. And I maintain, some of these people that come up with this shit, I'm like, if you could pour that attention and energy into something good, that would be amazing.
Yeah, it's not about good though. These
Yeah.
people, you're dealing with like, it's dark. It is dark. It's not good.
No.
Like they're in another country. They know exactly what they're doing. Right? Like it's sad. It's pretty sad.
So sad.
Like, oh my gosh, I have a client. I have a client who got scammed out of like $60,000 from this guy. And it's just like this person just felt lonely. This person reached out, kind of built up this relationship as this romantic thing. Scammed this lady out of like 60 grand. You know, I'm like, dude, like that is messed up, man. That is messed up.
Fun though. I haven't been out there in the summer
That's horrible.
in a long time. Probably since I probably haven't been out there in the summer.
Look how fabulous she was.
So I'm excited.
Oh,
We're gonna go to the
it's so beautiful.
And the layers are just so much
Always.
movement and fabulous, and it's awesome.
The ponytails are funner, more fun.
Yes.
Excuse me. The buns, the half up, half down.
Oh, all of it.
I mean, a bitch loves a layer.
Yes, touche.
Love it.
Touche. Love it. Yes.
It's so pretty. I often wonder if I didn't start coming to you 20 plus years ago, where would I be now? What type of hair would I be rocking? Would it be the I would like to speak to a manager, blunt bob? Would it be the duck butt back haircut? Would it be, I don't know, birth canal head Sally because I don't know any different? Thank God we don't have to wonder,
Yes.
you know?
Has it been 20 years?
20 plus,
20 plus years.
20-ish, yeah.
What salon did you start coming to see me at?
Oh, it was one in, oh, what was that? Jagged Edge?
Jagged Edge. Okay. Or South. No. Main Street. No. Yeah. Main Street and like or South.
Right out of high school.
Yeah.
And that was 22 years ago.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, pal.
Dude, I have a few of you guys that are still with me to this day, which is awesome. Yeah. Love it.
Crazy. So many evolutions.
Your longest
So much.
relationship.
My longest relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, we've been through thick and thin, you know. All of
They
it.
have been. Oh man.
You've been through stuff with me. I've been through stuff with you. It's awesome.
The idiots. The idiots I dated.
Oh, well, you know, you learn.
The idiots' ex-girlfriends.
Yes.
People are mean to me. You being like, they're dumb. Get over it. You'll be just fine. You're fabulous. You can't walk out of here with that hair feeling down on yourself and you're like, I'm right. You know, he's right. And I believed it.
Yes. Exactly. It's the most important accessory you'll ever wear.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember, bless your heart, it's a lot of the conversations that are good, like really, really good, that I think it's like, oh man, this is a friendship we've built over many, many years. Still to this day, one of the most meaningful appointments I've had with you was after my dad died. And I came in and I was like, this is all I have because I don't get my nails done. I don't do anything else for me. I've been a caregiver for the last 9 months and he's gone. So I came in for my hair appointment and we said nothing. We said nothing. I literally sat in your chair and cried. And every once in a while, you pat my shoulder. You're just sweet to me. And did my hair while I cried directly into your face for 3 hours. Aw.
I love it. I love it. You know, that's what you needed. You know, you have been such a integral part of where I am as a hairdresser, allowing me to do what I want to do, make you beautiful. You know, your sister as well. Yeah, you guys you're just awesome. And it's been honestly like, it's just been a pleasure. So
I look forward to eventually you converting my hair to olive gray.
But you only have a couple strands. We still have a ways to go.
I know, I'm like this. Oh my God. I showed my sister and she was like, grow up. That's like 5 hairs. But it's startling when it happens to you.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, but again, my husband is full like salt and pepper hair, mustache, beautiful facial hair, and he looks more hot than he's ever looked.
I feel it. You know, we're gonna cross that bridge when it comes. We don't have to worry about it now. You're a virgin.
Yep.
Literally, you've got like not like a virgin thing.
Well, I can't claim that. That's true. I'm heading into I kind of want to embrace it though, like that old crone stage where like I'm just like, we've talked about this before, like the crones of Pripyat.
Yes.
Yeah. That like went back into Pripyat after Chernobyl because they were like, I don't want to live in a slum. You know what? I'm old. I'm 80 years old. I'm just going to kill the radioactive ore and eat it and drink the radioactive water and eat my radioactive vegetables, but I'm home. And they're living longer than the people who left.
Really?
Yeah, because they're happy. I don't think we give enough credit to just joy.
Right.
Just joy and enjoyment and delight.
Right. Yeah.
And how much that affects the human spirit and just survival in general.
I think 100%. You 100%. You are there because it's so interesting. A lot of times people are just so obsessed with kind of like just be.
Yeah.
Just be. It's okay. Just be. Allow yourself to just kind of be in the moment. It's like, what are you so? I think so many people live in fear, and we discovered that kind of with what happened with like the shutdown. How many people lived in fear? Like I was in shock about like even like all the people that I would do, and I was just like, and it was so funny because I just kind of had this thing where I was just like, oh, I'm sick of my diet. I'm like, I'm living in the moment.
Yeah.
I fucking kiss my wife and kids when I leave this morning. Even this morning I went in, and my wife, she's been kind of struggling with it. And I just said, I went in and I was like, oh, it's gonna be a great day. You're gonna be just fine, right? Like, it's like before I would used to have like these thoughts where I'm like, I should have done that. because I didn't do it. And I left the house and I was just like, oh, I should have done that. And now I'm just like, no, like, you know, I'm like, if I have that thought, I do it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't want to have these regrets.
Oh, no regrets.
You know?
Yes.
Like, just do it, right? Like, even like yeah, like, so it's like, why would you not express that? I think there's so many people get weird about it. They're kind of like,
This goes back to my favorite quote. We must have the stubbornness to accept our gladness, even in the ruthless furnace of this world. No matter what shit I've been through, I never miss my fucking hair appointment. Stubborn gladness. I get this one thing. I get this thing that I do for myself. I'm going to be stubborn enough to find a little bit of enjoyment, and because God knows where I would be if you weren't doing my hair. Because as a data nerd, listen, I don't have a ton of style, but I do have this.
Dude, got it. So with your layers, kind of took out a little bit of weights.
Love it.
With kind of what we did before. I didn't really cut them anything like shorter. And you said you were like kind of happy with kind of how they're starting to grow out.
Love it.
Cool. But there's still a lot of movement in it. There's, you know, kind of recut your layers in the back, all that good stuff. Let's show this off real quick. You know, you guys can see it's freaking awesome. You know. Yeah. It's just fabulous. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. You know, look how it moves and lays. And the nice thing about that is it really just, the good thing about how you can see that layers are cut really well is you can't really see where they start and they end. You know what I mean? Like some layers, when they're traditionally cut in that traditional way, you'll see these lines. And we don't want that. We want it to where when you start to look at this, you can see how there's no like start and end point, and it just kind of flows all the way through. I hope you guys enjoy this. It's been an absolute pleasure. Love this gal, you know. Yeah, so.
We did it.
We did it. What else do you want me to put in there? Do you want to keep it soft?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, we don't have to.
Oh, gorge. Oh, I always get extra annoying after I leave here because I'm in my car like this.
Why would you not do that? You know what I mean? Like, why?
And then people are like, what's wrong with that girl? Something wrong with her neck? No. I'm just feeling myself.
She's got good hair vibe. That's what she's got, guys. You know. Okay. Say bye.
Bye.
Pleasure.